The Sky Visitors. The town of Middleton had always been quiet, a sleepy little place tucked away from the world. People went about their lives without fuss, their biggest worry being what to do with the annual Harvest Festival's surplus of pumpkins. That changed on an ordinary Tuesday night in October when a flash of bright electric light painted the sky. Sarah Hodge was the first to notice. She had been on her porch, sipping a glass of homemade cider, when a sharp, unnatural hum filled the air. It wasn't thunder, and it certainly wasn't fireworks. This was something different. Her fingers tightened around her glass as she watched the sky rip open above her house, spilling out a vibrant blue that hurt to look at directly. From that rift in the night sky, something massive loomed, hovering over Middleton, like an enormous spider waiting for a meal. No one could say what it was. Its shape was unclear, as if cloaked in a haze of shimmering metal that seemed to shift and melt with every second. The few others who saw it first thought they were dreaming, but the night was only beginning. By morning, the strange hum had settled over the town like a fog. People who'd slept through the night woke up with a prickling sensation on their skin, a tingling that no amount of showering could wash away. Those who had witnessed the lights in the sky remained tight-lipped, afraid of sounding crazy or hysterical. It wasn't until school buses, cars, and trucks all refused to start that the town began to understand. Whatever this was, it wasn't going to leave them untouched. Middleton's high school, a low building surrounded by a once busy parking lot, became the site of the first real sign. By 9 a.m., nearly every student and teacher had gathered outside, drawn together by a heavy silence. Principal Thompson, a no-nonsense man with a streak of gray in his beard, stood at the center, squinting up at the morning sky as if expecting to see something there. That's when they came. The beings descended slowly, cloaked in flowing, iridescent material that glowed with a light impossible to describe. Their faces, if they could be called faces, held a cruel, mocking intelligence, sharp eyes that seemed to pierce right through you. "I am Azrael," one of them said, its voice a low, guttural hum that made people press their hands to their ears. "We come from beyond your galaxy. We have seen worlds crumble and civilizations vanish. Now we come to you." People started screaming, running, but there was nowhere to go. An invisible wall had formed around the town's edge, trapping them inside. Azrael and the other visitors wasted no time. The horrors began almost immediately. Animals disappeared from their pastures, leaving nothing but pools of blood. Electricity fizzled and sputtered, throwing the town into eerie darkness each night. And when the visitors began to take people, one by one, the town's panic turned to dread. Tommy Ackerman, a retired mechanic, tried to resist, to fight back, but it only led to a twisted punishment. His body was found a week later in the center of town, twisted and rearranged, his mouth frozen in a silent scream, his limbs bent at impossible angles. A warning, Azrael called it, for those who might think to resist. The people of Middleton began to vanish, but they weren't being killed. Not exactly. Sarah and a few others pieced together that the visitors were experimenting on them, using them like living puzzles to solve. And what they were solving, no one could say, but each night they took more. Sarah could only watch as neighbors and friends were dragged screaming into the sky. The worst came when the visitors' leader decided to speak to them again. Azrael appeared on every remaining working television screen, his twisted, shimmering form filling the town's only bar. His voice echoed through every house, every alley. "You are the lucky ones, the chosen," he intoned, a terrible grin playing at his lips. "We have been watching, waiting, and now you are ours to remake." The lights flickered off one last time, and in the darkness, Sarah felt a pair of cold, metallic hands wrap around her arms.